weather vanes go?
Third floor, miss.
Third floor?
Colonial quilts and weather vanes are on the third floor.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Just sworn they were on this floor.
Did you hear what happened to Todd Kelly's penis this morning?
No, what?
Some maniac shot him with a gun.
Someone shot it? People don't shoot paintings, they splash them.
I heard it on the radio this morning. A hooded man pumped 18 bullets into the Venus figure at the Uffizi.
I've never heard of anyone shooting a painting.
You're right. They usually attack it with knives or axes.
There's something so alienating about shooting a painting.
And then there was that guy who wrote slogans all over the Guernica with a can of spray paint.
That's right.
Red spray paint. And he misspelled everything, remember?
Carol, Blakey, guys, you're going to love him. You know, his parents were both deaf mutes. Both of them. Profoundly deaf. Can you imagine what it must have been like growing up with parents who couldn't hear you? I mean, when would you figure out that it was their affliction and not yours? How could a baby realize that there was anything unusual about his parents? Since he never heard them utter a word, he must have assumed he couldn't speak either. He could hear his own little baby sounds, of course, but he had no idea what they were. When he cried, no one heard him.
Maybe he never did cry.
Of course he cried. All babies cry, even deaf babies.
He assumed he couldn't speak either?
Don't forget, his parents could always see him cry. Sooner or later, he must have realized that in order to get their attention, he didn't necessarily have to cry. All he had to do was go through the motions.
If a deaf-mute baby had hearing parents, they couldn't hear him cry either.
Go through the motions?
The deaf aren't necessarily mute, you know. They can make some sort of residual sound.
When he cried, no one heard him.
But that's not the case with exactly most parents. They are consigned to absolute and lifelong silence.
Oh my God! Will you look at that? It's incredible!
When Mo finally realized that his meandering attempts at speech fell on deaf ears,
This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. It's fantastic.
Please do not handle the artwork.
Oh, I'm sorry. Imagine thinking of making a clothesline with the bodies left inside the clothes.
Yeah.
It's a reality grounded in illusion.
You know, this is the first time I've ever been in this museum.
Oh no, there's even a little boy wearing a t-shirt.
Don't touch.
I'm not touching, for Christ's sakes. I'm just looking.
I've lived in the city my whole life, and I've never been in this museum.
It's our bodies that give our clothes meaning. Just as without our clothes, we...
You know, you can always tell the quality of a museum by the view out the windows.
Do you see this? He even left out a basket of clothespins.
Please do not handle the basket of clothespins.
If you're not supposed to handle the basket of clothespins, why did the artist put them there?
The Tate Gallery was just about the lousiest view of any museum in the entire world.
He put them there so we would touch them.
The view from the Del Prado isn't so hot either.
He chose painting as a voice.
look at his early sketches, the drawings he did of his toys when he was only 3. Do you believe this technique? Look at this handling of perspective.
Jean-Claude, I resemble to Gash. Tu sais?
Il est beaucoup imité, tu sais. Tu gâches.
C'est le Ménesty qui tu gâches.
Tu gâches trop admiré.
En style, un peu comme Kavitsky aussi.
Mon chou, tu sais très bien que je n'aime pas tout gâche du tout.
Kavitsky semble.
Écoute, François, tout gâche est bête.
Choisis les objets simples comme qui m'entend.
Tout gâche est de la saloperie. Je déteste tout gâche. Tout gâche est de la merde. Je déteste tout gâche.
Chérie! The image of people being laundered, washed, pinned up on the clothesline of life to dry out.
If If I designed a museum, there'd be no art on display. Only windows. If the public would come inside the museum to look outside the windows, the object of study would be nature itself, as seen through many different types of windows. There'd be open windows, closed windows, stained glass windows, broken down windows, bricked up windows, all looking out at exactly the same view.
I don't know which I like more, his landscapes or his seascapes.
And then there'd be windows that weren't really windows at all. The paintings of windows. Where would I find the colonial quilts and weather vanes?
Colonial quilts and weather vanes are on the 3rd floor.
Colonial quilts and weather vanes.
Colonial quilts and weather vanes are on the 3rd floor.
I was told they were on this floor.
The broken silence is on this floor.
What?
I said the broken silence is on this floor.
Broken what?
Silence!
Broken quilts?
Colonial quilts and weather vanes is on the 3rd floor.
I got permission from the director.
It's the last day of the show.
I just got permission from the director. You can see, he signed it himself.
The broken silence?
He was very nice about it. He took my tripod and he invited me back to the next show.
Last day of the show.
Thank you very much. I will.
I know it's the last day of the show, that's why I'm here.
Just as sound and speech were irrelevant to him, so line and form became irrelevant. It makes you wonder where he'll go from here.
It's against museum regulations to photograph the artworks without permission from the director.
Do you know what this makes you want to do? It makes you want to grab some of the clothespins and pin myself up right there alongside the others. I want to be laundered, hung up to dry all limp and dripping wet, with the sun slowly drying me out.
Alright, that's enough. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
They look so at peace. Cleansed, flapping in the
Let's
sun.
go.
I want to join them. I want to feel the sun on my face. I want to feel the sun on my face.
And then at some point, the structure of the museum would just end, and everyone would suddenly be outside, in the view. It'd actually become the view, the objects on display. You'll stand in line and pay admission to watch yourself. And the guards will be hired to watch the people watching each other. God, I've got to write this down.
They must be so proud of him, his parents. So very proud.
On behalf of the trustees of the museum, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to our current exhibition, The Broken Silence. Before we start on our tour, let me say a few words about the operation of the cassette you are now wearing around your neck. The small red button on the left allows you to turn me on or off at your own discretion. When you hear this beep sound, beep, it is the signal that my commentary about a specific work is finished and that you may turn the button to the off position and enjoy the painting or sculpture at your own leisure. When you wish to rejoin me, simply turn the button back to on and our tour will continue. If you inadvertently miss any of my remarks and would like to hear them again, switch the red button to off and then turn the adjacent white button to the replay position. My comments will then be repeated until you are caught up and ready to proceed. At that time, just return the white button to play and be sure to remember to flip the red button back to the on position. To raise and lower the volume on the earphone element, just turn the large black dial at the center of the cassette clockwise or counterclockwise. If the quality of your recorded tour is defective in any way, simply exchange it for another cassette at the front desk, main floor to the left of the check room.
Mon Dieu, Jean-Claude, regarde!
Quelle horreur!
C'est affreux!
Une insulte!
Dégoûtante,
Déplorable!
débraillé,
Décadent!
Déclassé.
Décomposé.
Défectif.
Défoncé.
Déformé.
Dégénéré.
Dégradante.
Démodé.
Je vous parle, Jean-Claude.
Moi aussi, Françoise.
Excuse me. Where is Puritan Pewter and Hook Drugs?
You mean Colonial Quilts and Weather Vanes?
No. Puritan Pewter and Hook Drugs.
We don't have Puritan Pewter or Hook Drugs on exhibit here. Only Colonial Quilts and Weather Vanes.
Just typical.